When we think about a hospital, we picture doctors and nurses saving lives. But behind the scenes of all that life-saving work, there's a hidden, high-stakes operation going on. It's a system we never see, but it's one that protects every single one of us from the dangerous side of medicine. We're talking about the secret life of hospital waste. I mean, have you ever really thought about it? A used needle, a blood-stained glove, a discarded bandage. Where do those things actually go? I can tell you they don't just disappear into a normal trash can. Their journey is just getting started, and it's a journey that's controlled by some incredibly strict, life-saving rules. And that entire journey kicks off with a choice. A nurse, a doctor, a technician, they make a split-second decision about which bin to toss an item into. And that single, simple action, it's the cornerstone of this whole meticulous process, one designed to keep all of us safe from some pretty hazardous stuff. So that leads us right into the first and honestly, the most critical step in the whole system, segregation at the source. It all boils down to this, putting the right waste in the right colored bag right from the get-go. If you mess this part up, the entire chain of safety is broken. And look, this isn't just a friendly suggestion or a nice idea. As this line from the official procedure makes crystal clear, this step is absolutely 100% non-negotiable. It has to happen right where the waste is created, at the patient's bedside, in the operating room, in the lab, without any delay. All right, so let's meet the main players in this color-coded system. First up, the yellow bag. This is the big one. It's for infectious waste. So think of anything that could possibly carry and transmit a disease. Lab cultures, tissues from a surgery, or dressings from an infected wound. If it's a potential biohazard, it's going in the yellow bag, period. Next, we have the green bag. Now, this one's a lot more familiar. It's for general biodegradable waste. It's basically the hospital's version of a compost bin, so things like leftover food from the cafeteria or kitchen prep. It's non-hazardous and it can break down naturally. And then there's the black bag, which is for the other side of general waste, the non-biodegradable stuff. This is your standard office trash, paper, plastics, and other things from administrative areas that aren't contaminated and, aren't going to break down easily. Okay, now for a category so dangerous it doesn't even get a bag. It gets its own little fortress. We're talking about sharps. That means needles, scalpels, broken glass, literally anything that can cut or puncture skin. They go into these rigid, puncture-proof containers to prevent accidental injuries, which, as you can imagine, are one of the biggest daily risks for healthcare workers. All right, so the first decision has been made. The waste is sorted into its proper color-coded container, but it's still inside the hospital, scattered across dozens of rooms. Now its journey truly begins, moving from all those individual points to one central collection area. And this internal journey is like a carefully choreographed dance with 4 key steps. We already covered step 1, segregation. Next comes collection, which happens on a super strict schedule. Then it's transported through the hospital hallways using dedicated gear. And finally, it's all kept in a secure, central storage area to wait for the final pickup. And you've got to understand, this is a 24/7 operation. Waste is collected at the end of every single nursing shift, morning, afternoon, and night. This constant cycle is crucial to make sure waste doesn't pile up in patient areas, which helps minimize risks and just keeps the hospital running like a well-oiled machine. So who are the people doing this critical job? It's the nursing attendants and the janitorial personnel, and protecting them is priority number 1. They have to wear specific PPE, we're talking heavy-duty gloves, coveralls, thick-soled boots, just to handle these materials safely. The system even has these clever built-in safety rules, like bags are sealed when they're only 3/4 full, just to stop them from bursting. And they use dedicated, color-coded trolleys, a simple but brilliant rule that prevents cross-contamination. So we've seen the colors, right? Yellow, green, black. But what really makes one type of waste so much more dangerous than another? Let's dig a little deeper into the official categories to really get a handle on the different kinds of hazards the hospital is managing every single day. Okay, this table really shows you that the word hazardous is way bigger than you might think. It is not just about germs. You've got pharmaceutical waste, like expired drugs that could get into the groundwater. You have genotoxic waste from cancer treatments, which can actually be carcinogenic itself. Then there's chemical and even radioactive waste. Each one of these needs its own completely unique and specialized disposal plan. And just to give you an idea of how serious this gets, check out this special label for cytotoxic waste, which often comes from chemotherapy. This stuff is so hazardous, it gets its own special warning symbol. This isn't just a yellow bag. This is a clear signal of extreme danger that basically screams, handle with maximum caution. All right, so the waste has been sorted, collected, and safely stored in that central area. Now what? Well, the final leg of the journey takes it outside the hospital, and this is where the paths split in a really dramatic way. And this is where the road forks. The general waste, your green and black bags, that gets picked up by the city, just like the trash from your house. But the hazardous waste? Oh, that's a completely different story. It's handled by a totally separate, specialized company. It is never, ever allowed to mix with the public waste stream. And that specialized company doesn't just go dump it somewhere. No way. First, the hazardous material goes through a process called hydroclave treatment. The easiest way to think of it is like a giant industrial pressure cooker. It uses high-pressure steam to completely sterilize everything, killing any pathogens and making the waste non-infectious. Only then is it considered safe enough to go to a secured, specialized landfill. Now, this entire system it's really impressive. But at the end of the day, it's all reactive. It's about dealing with waste that's already been made. The ultimate goal, the real game changer, is to not create so much waste in the first place. And that's where this idea of waste minimization comes in, a proactive strategy to shrink that mountain of waste before it even exists. And this is all about the 4 Rs. First, reduction, just using less stuff. Simple, right? Second, reuse, finding ways to safely use a product again. Third, recycling, processing non-contaminated items like paper and plastic into new things. And finally, and this brings us full circle, it comes back to segregation. By sorting waste properly from the start, hospitals make sure the volume of truly hazardous material is as small as it can possibly be. So there you have it, a whole hidden system that works tirelessly behind the scenes to keep us safe from the byproducts of modern medicine. It's a marvel of logistics and procedure. But it kind of leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? As medicine keeps advancing, how do we innovate not just in our treatments, but in making healthcare itself more sustainable for our planet?